Let your body take control. You're on my mind, baby. Just move a little closer. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body
morning. I'm here bright and early. Got my reparations coffee in the Papa Bear cup because I am the Papa Bear. And I don't know why I said that. Anyway, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, which is, as you know, FTG Thursday. And I didn't choose things to talk about today that necessarily warrant FTGs, although I can find an FTG in probably every article I find, and so can you. So we'll try and see what we can do about that. If you haven't already shared the stream while I'm playing the intro, why don't you share the stream out? I forgot to send it out on Twitter. Gosh darn it, I did that again, didn't I? I don't think I've done that the last couple days, have I? I should probably get on that. But so anyway, those of you who are here, welcome. Throw that stream out there somewhere. I'm going to play the intro, and hopefully I can get this sent out while I'm playing the intro. Johnny, play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. And stop the music. So that was a fail. Here, let me just, while I'm thinking about it, I'll just do this while we're talking. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning. Oh, what the hell did I do there? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as a PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel as I cut and paste and get the out to all my other social media here. In fact, what I'm going to do, let me do this. I hadn't even thought of this. Watch this. As I'm putting this out, so can you. Here's the tweet. If you want to throw that on your social media, I'll put it in the chat. You can cut and paste that. And I am having a lovely morning. It's raining here in the Twin Cities, or at least my part of the Twin Cities. And so I'm going through my gardens this morning as I'm walking through and noticing that, hey, shit looks pretty good. Anyway, welcome to the show. As you know, we talk about news and commentary on things that are happening in the world, and there is so much happening in the world. It's kind of amazing how things are just nonstop. It's overwhelming, and I can understand kind of why my spouse doesn't necessarily like to talk about or like to watch the news. She usually just gets it from me in small doses because everything's insane. It just is. And I don't understand. Why is this not working? There we go. And so I'm just, oh shoot, what did I just do? Hang on. Restore. Let's restore that. What did I just close? Oh, good God. Okay, I can get rid of that. And so anyway, I'm going to try. I'm sorry I'm trying to do this at the same time. It's embarrassing that I didn't do this already, but got to do it because I got to make sure I share the show myself. If I'm going to ask you to do it, I certainly should. I should be doing it on my own. Why is none of this working? I know this is kind of a weird vibe right now. I'm almost done though. There's that one. Okay, so I did on all that. I did it on Cloud Club. I did it on Gab. I did it on Minds, and now on Twitter. All right, so I feel refreshed. I got my coffee in my gullet, and let's say good morning to everybody. This pinned tweet is just annoying because I can't see who's at the top. Well, I know who was here first today, so I'm going to go ahead and say hi. First in chat today was my friend from Down Under, Richo, who gets the bell. There you go. And welcome to the show. Turn this up so I can hear myself. There we go. Okay. And also, good morning to Somnambule Nation, who's here bright and early. And also, good morning, Gunfox61, the administrator of our our Dawg Knight Channel Discord server. Also, thank you for that. As always, Gunfox. Good morning. Were you? No, that's the other day. Also, James PFP, what's happening? Zero the Hero, nice to see you back. Renee Mayette, howdy ho, howdy ho. the immortal words of Cab Calloway. Good morning, Assassins of the Gray. let's see. Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Jesse Leon. How you doing? Cultus Ford, nice to see you back. Jesse Leon, what up? Good morning, Tyler F. How you doing? Terai Deos. Did I already say Terai Deos? No, I didn't. You just got it. Okay, I'm scrolling down and figuring it out. Good morning, Terai Deos. Wikipedia snippet. What up? Let's see. San, Cracker Rob, Amy in Connecticut. Hello. Okay, keep going. Keep scrolling. Why are you so angry? That's not a question. That's the name of Why Are You So Angry is in the chat. And Lord Stanhope, nice to see you. Attack Alpaca. And I think I'm close. If I missed you, I'm at the bottom of the list. So if I missed you, just keep chatting. I'll figure it out. All right. That's everybody. Now, while you're thinking about it, while you're here, if you're already here and enjoying what we're doing so far, which I don't know why, because me doing the back end business probably wasn't all that exciting, but hit the like button if you like what we're doing and share the stream out. Sharing the stream is the biggest thing, especially since I have about a $3,000 repair on my truck that I got to do. I'm not happy. I might have to replace my engine because it might be cheaper to replace the engine than to fix the engine. That's how bad it is. And I just found that out this morning. That kind of sucks. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about what's happening in the news because just that's what we do. First in the news. Now oh shoot. Now how'd that happen? This should not be the first article. What happened to my article? The main purpose of the show today. Please tell me I bookmarked it. Hang on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. All right, so here's the point of when I said, here we go again. So I saw this article. Oh, good God. Did I a bunch of my tabs close? What the hell happened here? You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Give me one moment, please. Sorry to do this, guys, but I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, you guys. No, not my Chevy. It's a Ford anyway. So here's the one that I said, here we go again. And I'm not talking about a White Snake song. There is a new fight looming over down payment aid to close the racial wealth gap. Okay. Now, me being one who was in the mortgage business back in the day, I left the mortgage business about a year before the financial crisis. Because I was like seeing, oh, good God, here we go. I knew it was coming. I could tell just by what was happening around the world. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to be a part of this. Because I had a very, very, very strict rule in my own personal business, the business that I did, that I was not going to do any of these crazy loans that they were offering. And I just wanted to make sure if I was counseling or someone who wanted a loan, and they wanted to go well outside of what I believe was their their normal debt to income ratio that we used as a formula. I wouldn't recommend them doing it. And if I lost the loan, so be it. There are plenty of people out there who will just do it to make money. And I wanted to make sure the people that I worked with were able to afford what they were buying. And I constantly made sure that, I know that of all the loans I did over the 10 years I was in the business, I have only know of one that was ever foreclosed on. Okay. And that was a guy who lost his business and couldn't recover from that. And that's the only one I know of. Now, granted, I kept in touch with a lot of my former clients, and and I constantly was coming across people who had taken bad loans, trying to fix it by refinancing and realizing that there was no way to do it in a ethical way. And so I lost a lot of business for being a little more on the ethical side of life in that business. There were a lot of very unethical people in that business. A lot of people, it was quick money for some people because they could convince family, friends, and other people to take on stuff that they shouldn't have taken on, and they'd make a lot of money doing it. And then those people would be, screwed for a very long time. So I'm looking at this article, and this is here we go again. Fight looms over down payment aid to close racial wealth gap. Now, first of all, the only really way to close, first of all, you can't determine a racial wealth gap. The only way to really to fix that is to have more people who are in situations where the only way to close a race gap is to, first of all, try to improve people's outlook on how to become wealthy or become stable, right? And that includes a lot of factors. It's a very complex situation. There are plenty of us in the melanated categories who do quite well because they've learned the formula for becoming wealthy, or becoming not even wealthy, just sustaining what they do. And that's the only way to really do it. The only way to sustain it, because you can throw money at just about anything. It doesn't mean people are going to be wealthy. How many lottery winners end up broke? A lot of them. How many athletes who make a ton of money over a short period of time end up broke? A lot of them, because they don't know how to manage money. So here's a proposal by Maxine Waters, a $10 billion proposal, which in Washington terms, that's peanuts, I guess, in theory, anymore, since Biden's proposing $4 trillion in spending that's on top of what we normally do. House Financial Services Chair Maxine Waters would give homebuyers up to $25,000 for a down payment. Now, Democrats are pushing to spend billions of dollars to help first-time homebuyers afford down payments, setting up a clash with industry groups and lawmakers. GOP lawmakers are warning about racial targeting of the aid and risks to the housing market. So we're already having this problem targeting certain types of aid by race, because there's the suit in Texas where that they were prioritizing minority business owners as far as PPP funding, right? And so the $10 billion proposal by the House Financial Services Chair, Maxine Waters, would give homebuyers up to $25,000 for a down payment. President Joe Biden's top housing official, HUD Secretary Marsha Fudge, says such assistance is a priority for the administration. Waters' plan has triggered concern in the mortgage industry because it would require lenders to identify and direct aid to first-generation buyers, those whose parents don't own homes, and socially and economically disadvantaged groups. The move is also stirring broader criticism about how much it would help buyers and whether it would put them at risk. So here's the thing. We've known for years that programs where people don't have to put their own money into buying or don't have to do anything have a much higher failure rate. So we've had programs where we've had government programs where you only put 3% down and you can borrow the 3%, and you can the 3% can pretty much come from anywhere, or you can have it as a gift, or you have programs where there's no money down, and those loans are some of the most likely to fail. They're insured by the not the FDA, FHA. They're insured by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, whatever. But they're the loans that fail. And so anytime you don't have to put your own skin in the game, do you care as much? What's your loss if you fail? Rather than teaching people, oh, well, maybe we should learn how to be financially literate and learn how to save money whatsoever. When you put your own money in, you are less likely to worry about, you're less likely to fail because you would be losing your own money, not somebody else's money, not just the government's money. So the programs, it sounds great. It sounds like a great idea. So it sounds so generous and so simple. And yet we know just from not actuarial tables, but just a similar, there's plenty of research to show that people who put, the less you put in, unless you have a financial plan, that a long-term financial plan, you're more likely to fail, period. PDawg won't answer, so I will ask, did anyone hear Australia's communist state, Victoria, went into a 7-day lockdown today? Oh my God, no, I did not know that. I'll come check that out. Anyway, so Democrats are in a rush to put families in homes they can't afford. Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, the top Republican on the Banking and Housing Committee, said. Other critics say it would worsen the affordable housing problem by driving up demand for homes. Yes, that too. At a time when supply is already at historic lows, this adding demand on top of already strong demand, so you'll push up housing prices even further, said Lawrence Yoon, chief economist at National Association of Realtors. There's a gain. That's a gain for current homeowners, not home buyers. It is absolutely a seller's market. It's insanity right now. And part of it is I think we talked about this before, right now, spec home builders, what spec home builders is, home builders who build homes without a buyer, and then they just sell homes, like in tract, developments and things like that. Well, they'll build a bunch of homes and sell them after they build them. The number of spec home builders right now is half of what it was 2 years ago. They're not building as many homes. Now, a lot of the bigger companies are still around, but a lot of the spec home builders are not there. There was what was it, like 32,000 some 2 years ago, and right now there's about 17,000. A lot of these have gone out of business. Now you'd think with the housing market the way it is, there might be a lot more spec home builders, but remember, we've gone through a year where a lot of businesses couldn't really do their jobs, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff going on that kind of took away that incentive to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, the fight illustrates the daunting challenges Democrats face to try to make good on pledges to combat racial inequality in the Biden era. In trying to remedy past discriminatory policies by focusing on specific groups, they run the risk of creating new lopsided policies that alienate other Americans and could be challenged in court. But home ownership may be the most, this is a political article now, but home ownership may be the most glaring area of economic disparity in the U.S., and housing advocates are zeroing in on down payment assistance as a means of offsetting intergenerational wealth disadvantages. Now, I'm going to read this and I'm going to give you my thought, because this is another one of those things where I go, what the fuck are they talking about? We are simply providing first-generation home buyers, largely people of color, what white first-time home buyers have been receiving for years in the forms of the daddy down payment loan, family assistance that is almost never repaid, said David Dworkin, president and CEO of the National Housing Conference Advocacy Group. Now, that is a load of shit. I have been in my business. I rarely ever ran across people who went through the, quote, daddy down payment plan. Most first-time buyers that I dealt with either were doing FHA loans, which now you could get, it would be about as much as 3% down, or as low as 3% down, sometimes 1% down, depending on how it was structured. And almost in every one of those cases, it was money that they saved up. Okay, because if you're saving down just like between 1% and 3% down, some people can do that. Okay, 1% of 100,000 is 1,000. 1% of 200,000 is 2,000. 1% of 300,000 is 3,000. Okay, so people could do that, or even, and if it's 3%, it's 9,000 on $300,000 home. I wasn't seeing a whole lot of daddy down payment loans. So David Dworkin's talking straight out of his butthole. The median wealth of young white adults' parents, $215,000, dwarfs that of parents of young Black and Hispanic adults at $14,400 and $35,000 respectively. Okay, and I don't. So you're saying that if you, okay? So anyway, let me finish reading this. Giving white adults buying their first home much bigger resource to tap for the first upfront payment. Except I didn't see that. I didn't see a whole lot of, again, daddy down payment loans. I did mortgages for all sorts of demographic people, and almost all the first time home buyers pretty much struggle to save for their own down payment if they were doing an FHA program, which is the most common, first-time home buyer program. Period. There was no daddy down payment. Did I see people who got gifts? If they got gifts, they weren't that much, okay? Because only a certain percentage of it could be gifted. So anyway, now Democratic lawmakers and housing advocates are circulating proposals to help first-generation buyers purchase their first homes, just as banks like JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo roll out programs for forgivable down payment loans. One estimate from Urban Institute found that giving down payment assistance to first-generation buyers who earn up to 120% of the area median income would reach about 5 million people, fairly evenly distributed among Black, Latino, and white households. Plans with the most traction, the $10 billion proposal in housing infrastructure bill. See, they calling this infrastructure, a infrastructure bill. Oh my gosh, they just mangle language. Would give state housing finance agencies grants to award up to $20,000 in down payment assistance to first-generation home buyers below a certain income threshold, and up to $25,000 if the buyers are from a socially economically disadvantaged group. What is a socially disadvantaged, economically advantaged group? Oh my God. All right. They go on and on and on in this article. I'm not going to read it anymore, but just check out this Politico article when we're done. And I'm sorry, just from my own experience, and because this is on any given day, I could say this. FTG, Maxine Waters. Sorry. All right. Now, today, because I have tons and tons of stuff, I am going to have to fly through this whole thing. I'm looking at 45 tabs, I think, today, and I would not get through this. A lot of this is just going to be headline blurbs. But again, as you know, every story that I read or mention or touch on or whatever will be in a single link in the description down below this video. And it's called a one-tab link, and it'll have just a list of every article. If you want to get more depth, you can read the entire articles, or if you're using it for your own videos or your own blogs, videos, telling mom and dad about what's happening in the world, you can do that. Hit the link at the end of the show. I will be putting that up during the outro. I'd also put it in the chat and also in the Discord server, along with the link to this video, this stream, post whatever stream. So anyway, make sure you check that out at the end of the show. I will be updating that at the end of the show. Also, reminder, hit the like button, share the stream. Also, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, you can do that through YouTube SuperChats and or Streamlabs, which is in the description down below, and it shows up in the chat every once in a while, sort of, kind of. Okay, well, there you go. Good Lord. Anyway, let's PDawgKnight, see the post where Facebook said it may have to look at the people it banned for saying China flu? I did not. Are they reconsidering? I don't know. I did not see that. All right, real quick, let me say hi to some people who showed up a little bit later in the start, and I'm really far behind. Now I know I saw MC.
Hammer time.
So I know you're here. Good morning. Also, good morning, Ken Lee, and Always Lost and Nothing Else Alone. Duck Dog, what's happening? I saw, let's see, I said Ken Lee already. Mike Savage, Blark, Jamie Elquist, nice to have you back. Also, good morning, Hig, good morning. Hig and Cindy's, I'm sure is in the background. Jaded Emerald, what's happening? Who else am I missing? Am I getting there? Thomas Cleaver, what's happening? Let's see. I saw K Shull. I didn't say it yet, but I know you're there. The Asian Research Directorate. Good morning. Also, Jason Arnold. Hey, nice to have you back. I haven't seen you in a while. Also, W.R. Costin. Well, what's up? Amy in Connecticut. And I think I'm pretty caught up now. Lord Stanhope. Hello. Is that it? Is that everybody? I'm getting there. I'm trying, guys. Oh, there's one. Who is that? Oh, that's Atheist Icon. What's happening? Nice to see you. All right. I think I got everybody. And Jedi Ghost Bear. What's up, Dave? All right, let's move on. Now, like I said, we're gonna fly through articles today because I got so many, and I just want to give you the lowdown on what's happening in the world. So as you know, we worried about the selfie insurrection. Well, they're having the January 6th commission, or at least they're trying to. I know that some of the Republicans aren't on board, so it may not happen. Hi, Genty. But here's something that's happening that's been ongoing for months. And, when they said that, burning down, trying to burn down federal buildings at night is actual terrorism, and it's not, if it's during the day and they're just, whatever they're doing. Well, or was the other way around? I can't remember what Merrick Garland said. Well, in Portland, Antifa riot tries to burn down Justice Center again. Shocker. Portland Antifa commemorated the anniversary of George Floyd's murder with dangerous riots, including attacking police officers and vandalizing business. Oh my, by the way, oh my gosh. Well, we're going to talk about Brian Sicknick again a little bit later, but anyway. So anyway, the peaceful gathering in Southeast destructive crowd downtown. Portland Police Bureau declared a riot while pointing out others managed to protest in a peaceful manner. About 9:13 p.m., people pushed a dumpster against the Justice Center near Southwest 3rd and Avenue and Southwest Main Street. People tried to get a fire started in the dumpster. Many people approached the Justice Center holding umbrellas to obscure their actions and movements. At least 2 people pried at doors on the north side of the building. Several people used umbrellas to conceal their actions and lit a fire in the dumpster. At about 9:21, people chanted, "Burn the building down." So yes, there we go. They set a dumpster on fire. Antifa would be nothing without dumpster fires, because not only are they a dumpster fire, they appreciate a good dumpster fire, and they tried to burn it down again. So there's video and all kinds of stuff in that article. Legal insurrection, one of the tabs, it'll be in the tabs down below. Moving on, former Seattle police chief says that media malfeasance covering CHOP, aka Chaz, aka the whatever autonomous zone in Seattle, made violent activists look peaceful. Well, gosh, wasn't it a peaceful protest? I don't know. They kept saying it was. Former Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best said on a podcast this week that the Capitol Hill occupied protest, aka CHOP zone, during Seattle's Black Lives Matter uprising was more violent than the media depicted. Oh, I know. They always say it's a peaceful protest. Best told Jerry Radcliffe on his podcast, Reducing Crime, that destructive behavior in CHOP was not adequately documented by the media, which resulted in people thinking it was peace and light. Well, you had a politician saying that was just a summer of love, right? Wasn't it just a summer of love, even though, 3 people got murdered in the CHOP? Just saying. Hello, Humble Clay. The other thing I found very curious during the time frame was that the destructive behavior, for whatever reason, I'm not sure if there's a political reason or otherwise, did not get the level of publicity or media attention as I would read stories about peaceful protests. I go, well, part of it was peaceful, but I was standing 20 feet away from a hail of rocks, and I was looking right at them, hailed down feet from me. So, yeah, they like to say it was a peaceful protest, and I beg to differ. So anyway, not the mayor. Wasn't it the governor who called it the summer of love? Hello, Jim Beam, by the way. Yeah, I think it was the governor who was saying it was the summer of love. And, but the media made it look like it was just, they're just hanging out, doing this and that. Yeah, they didn't really talk about the murders. All right, let's keep going. The anti-Semitic attacks in New York and elsewhere. We haven't quite figured out why, but Dems seem desperate. Their desperate denial on anti-Jewish attacks and then bringing up Islamophobia. You know what I mean? As Jews are being pummeled, punched, and spat on, intimidated with explosive devices, and singled out for violence and harassment all across America this week, the righteous men and women of the Democratic Party were quick to denounce the twin scourges behind these mini pogroms, anti-Semitism, and drumroll please, Islamophobia. Yes, it's Islamophobia that's causing this. We've recently seen disturbing anti-Semitic attacks and troubling rise in Islamophobia. And now I'm doing my Fauci voice. I meant to do my Bernie Sanders voice. Crowed Senator Bernie Sanders, if you committed a future equality and peaceful coexistence, if you're committed to a future of equality and peaceful coexistence, please stand united against anyone who promotes hatred of any kind. Parroting this sentiment was Elizabeth Warren. Oh, is John Smith in the house today? You're supposed to be keeping track of Elizabeth for me. Parroting the sentiment was Elizabeth Warren, who tweeted that anti-Semitism has no place in our country or world. Neither does Islamophobia. Really? So the Palestinian activists, and I use that term very loosely, who are out there beating anyone with a yarmulke in the street, and we're concerned about Islamophobia. Can anyone do a Jen Psaki and circle back around and figure out what the hell she's talking about? Representatives Ayanna Pressley, Jamal Bowman, Julian Castro, Cori Bush, Maureen Newman, and many, many, many others joined the choir, all singing the same chorus. Anti-Semitism and Islamophobia together forever. The party of science, she blinded me with science, ought to like empirical evidence. So here are 2 fun facts. Between 2012 and 2018, there have been 763 total incidents motivated by anti-Muslim bigotry, according to one in-depth survey conducted by the liberal New American think tank. Over on the anti-Semitic side of the divide, according to the Anti-Defamation League, we've had some 2,000 incidents, and that was last year alone. So between 2012 and 2018, 763 total incidents. And again, I would say reported incidents, because remember, about A lot of hate crimes come up as hoaxes. But in the last year, 2,000 incidents of anti-Semitic violence. In 2020, the ADL reported 31 Jews were physically attacked for being Jewish, more than half of them in Gotham. That number will almost certainly shoot way up as 2021's numbers are tallied, even as every day brings a fresh case of violence against Jews. But the Democrats seem to be in denial. Now, here's the question. Just look at the perpetrators. So Wasim Awadeh, for example, a 23-year-old New Yorker who viciously assaulted a Jewish man in Midtown Manhattan last week and then boasted he'd do it again if given the chance, doesn't really fit the left's fantasy of the prototypical hater. He isn't a Trump supporter. He's not some angry straight white man bigoted against the other. He's a pro-Palestinian activist. What would lead to such a charmer to savage a Jew in broad daylight? Well, the answer, according to convoluted logic, guiding the Democratic Party to no moral and intellectual perdition, it must be Islamophobia. So this Palestinian activist, I use the term loosely, beat the hell out of some Jewish guy because of Islamophobia. Can anyone else see the disconnect? All right, you can read the rest on your own. Let's move on, because in the same light, Jewish House Democrats urge Biden to appoint an ambassador to combat anti-Semitism and condemns House colleagues' comments. I wonder which ones. Jewish House Democrats sent a letter urging President Joe Biden to appoint a United States ambassador at large to monitor and combat anti-Semitism and condemning the comments made by their House colleagues. Representative Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey and Representative Elaine Luria of Virginia and Kathy Manning of North Carolina all signed on to the letter first obtained by Punchbowl News, saying that they are deeply disturbed by the recent surge in anti-Semitic incidents in the United States. The group of Democrats said they believe there needs to be a united front in order to combat rising anti-Semitism in the country. The Democrats explained the surge in the last few weeks all over the United States, including attacks on Jewish Americans in New York, California, and Florida. Here's what they said. Quote, in Times Square, as a group yelling anti-Semitic slurs viciously beat, kicked, and pepper sprayed an unsuspecting Jewish man in Los Angeles, a caravan of pro-Palestinian protesters descended on a restaurant in West Hollywood, demanding to know who's Jewish before unleashing a violent attack on diners while yelling anti-Semitic slurs. In Bal Harbor, a Jewish family visiting from New Jersey was harassed by 4 men in an SUV shouting, "Free Palestine, fuck you Jew, die Jew." In Tucson, Arizona, an individual threw rock through a glass window, vandalizing congregational Shavrim. Jews across the country and across the United States are facing an extraordinarily tense environment of fear and insecurity. Now, let's see who they, does it say who they criticized? Let's see, I'm looking down here. Because I didn't read this whole thing. Okay, it doesn't say who they criticize. For some reason, it might be this next group, the Hamas caucus. This is the new name for the Ocasio-Cortez squad. As Israel spent 11 days defending itself from a barrage of rocket attacks from Gaza, a handful of congressional Republicans who all share a hallway with members of the Progressive Squad, Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, decided to make statements against her anti-Israel rhetoric in no unclear terms. Oh, I'm sorry. The Republicans did. Representative Mike Waltz of Florida, Lisa McClain of Michigan, Nancy Mace of South Carolina, and Chris Jacobs of New York all hung up "Stand with Israel" posters next to their office doors. So here's in fact, this is Representative Waltz.
Our allies, our most critical ally in the Middle East, Israel, is being attacked by Iranian-backed terrorists, launching rockets at Israeli civilians while hiding behind their own civilians. We stand with Israel, and I want everyone to know it. So I'm putting up this sign today next to my congressional office, and we're not going to let a couple of loud, progressive left voices stand between us and our Israeli allies.
Okay, so that's certainly his prerogative, regardless of what you think of that conflict. But then Walsfeld told Fox News that he's given the squad a new name, the Hamas Caucus. Oh my gosh. As a Green Beret, I fought alongside our allies against terrorism, and never did I think I would serve in Congress with the Hamas Caucus, who's defending terrorist attacks on our greatest ally in the Middle East. So that's, oh my gosh, that's I think that's funny. Anyway, good morning, Sapphire Dragon. Nice to welcome you to the show. So anyway, okay, we're gonna go on. Apparently, let's see, what's this one? Oh, that's right. This is a editorial in the Daily Wire. No American Jew should have to hide their Star of David. And it's an interesting article, but I'm going to move on. You can read that one yourself. And then the nitwit they mentioned earlier, Mike Pete, what's up? Who they mentioned in the other article, Wasim Awade, charged in anti-Semitic assault, vows he'd do it again and gets a hero's welcome. There's been a second arrest of Fazi Alizi, 25, of Staten Island. Wasim Awade is charged in the brutal gang beating of Joseph Borgen as the group shouted anti-Semitic taunts. I won't play the video, but it is here. It was one of many attacks in New York by pro-Palestinian groups, as we covered in videos earlier. According to news reports, Awade vowed he would do it again if he could. Quote, "If I could do it again, I would do it again," he told one of his jailers, according to a prosecutor at the Awade's Saturday arraignment in Manhattan criminal court. "I have no problem doing it again. The attack was unprovoked," said the prosecutors, and who told Judge Kathleen Paik that Borgen was walking near Broadway and West 49th Street when Awade jumped him and attacked him. Awade, who has at least one open case in Brooklyn for allegedly speeding and running a red light in March, was charged with assault as a hate crime, gang assault, menacing, aggravated harassment as a hate crime, and criminal possession of a weapon, police said. The Midtown attack was a hate crime, Manhattan Assistant District Attorney told Paik, adding, Awade called Borgen a dirty Jew and said, "Fuck Israel. Hamas is going to kill all of you." Awade is enrolled in college and isn't a flight risk, said his attorney, April White Small of New York County Defenders. Awade did not enter a plea. Friends at Awade, who refused to give their names, claimed Awade was attacked first. Video evidence says otherwise. Numerous pro-Palestinian groups are raising money for his defense. A New York coalition of Palestinian organizations that advocates the elimination of Israel as an independent Jewish state has raised nearly $20,000 to fund legal expenses for Palestinian protesters who participated in anti-Semitic demonstrations in Midtown Manhattan last week that descended into violence against Jews. On Monday, the Palestinian Freedom Fund, which describes itself as supporting the movement for justice, return and liberation, has raised almost $20,000, all of its $20,000 goal through an online crowdfunding campaign. And then here he is with friends celebrating his release.
Yo, you a hero. Put your head up. You a hero. Put your head up. You a fucking hero. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine.
So anyway, so what's his name again? His name is hang on a second here. Wasim FTG to him. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, did you hear about this? So apparently they're getting more information off of Hunter Biden's laptop, and I know that's a sensitive subject on YouTube, but apparently Hunter Biden introduced his dad to some business cronies in 2015. Huh. Let me think about that. 2015. I'm 2015. Well, look at the article. I'm going to ponder that date, that year, because that's interesting. According to documents on his laptop, Hunter Biden abandoned at a repair shop in Delaware. Hunter introduced his father, then vice president. That's what it is. That's Joe Biden was vice president in 2015. I knew there was something. I knew it. Were you feeling it? He introduced his father, Vice President Joe Biden, to an executive at the notoriously corrupt Ukrainian gas firm Burisma at a dinner in Washington, D.C. Burisma was paying Hunter Biden $83,133 per month to sit on the firm's board. Hunter's Russian and Kazakh business partners also attended the dinner. Wow. Now, is it just me? I could have sworn that Joe Biden said he didn't really know anything about Hunter's business dealings. Anyway, Hunter Biden invited guests to the dinner on April 16, 2015, held in the private garden room at Cafe Milano, a Georgetown restaurant whose catchphrase is, "Where the world's most powerful people go." Oh, great. Oh, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians here. How you doing? The New York Post first reported on the emails on Wednesday. The next day, Vadim Parajasky, executive at Burisma, emailed Hunter Biden to thank him for introducing his father. Well, dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving me an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together, Pojarski wrote on April 17, 2015. It's really an honor and a pleasure. Well. I could have sworn they said that didn't happen. Okay, well, all right. So if you want the details of that, here, FTT to Hunter and Joe for lying. All right, I gotta keep going because I'm really gonna run out of time today. So anyway, but here's the article that you really wanted to hear. So Joe Biden, he lied about his involvement with Hunter's Ukrainian affairs. Through the presidential campaign, Joe Biden was clear his son Hunter's affairs in Ukraine were his own business, and Biden had nothing to do with them. Like Sergeant Schultz, he knew nothing. He saw nothing. Even when one of Hunter's old partners, Toby Bobulinski, said Biden was absolutely involved in Hunter's China business affairs, Biden continued to deny involvement. However, emails from Hunter's abandoned laptop show that while Biden was vice president, he met the whole Russian and Ukraine cabal for dinner. Okay, so we just know that, and this is just going to get into that even more. Here's some denials. Let's see. Here's one.
Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
And so how do you know?
Let's talk about, here's what I know. I know Trump deserves to be investigated.
Oh.
He is violating every
Trump.
basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question.
Yes.
Why is he on the phone with a foreign leader?
Changing the subject.
Trying to intimidate a foreign leader, if that's what happened. That appears what happened. You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum. And he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me. Everybody looked at this, and everybody's looked at it and said there's nothing there. Ask the right questions.
Okay, but if you've never spoken to your son,
Can he be impeached for this?
Depending on what the House finds, he could be impeached, but I'm not making that judgment
Okay,
now.
so
The House,
hang on. Let's see. Hang on. Let's do this one. Let's see this one.
On your son, Hunter Biden, President Trump says, Sleepy Joe has real problems. Reminds me of Crooked Hillary and her 33,000 deleted emails. A lot of the Ukraine charges about you have been debunked and were unfair.
Oh, debunked. Goodness me, they were debunked and unfair?
There's one thing that a lot of Democrats even do wonder about, and that is Hunter Biden, your son, was getting paid a lot of money to serve on the board of a Ukrainian energy company facing serious corruption charges. You were the vice president running point on Ukraine. The average Joe hears that and says, that sounds fishy. What's your understanding of what your son was doing?
Let's hear his
for an
answer.
extraordinary amount of money?
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board.
Oh, after.
And that was it. And there's nobody.
Well, you've had a lot of time. Isn't this something you want to get to the bottom of?
No, because I trust my son.
But that doesn't pass the smell test. Like when you're vice president, isn't there a higher standard? Don't you need to know what's happening with your family? Don't you need to put down some guardrails?
I don't need to know.
Unless there was something that was, there was something on his face that was wrong. There's nothing on his face that was wrong. So look, if you want to talk about problems, let's talk about Trump's family.
Bring up Trump. There you go.
I mean, come on.
That's your answer to everything. Blame Trump. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch more in here that you'll love to see, and it's in the article. All right, let's move on. This one. So there's a new ATF nominee. What's his name? Chipman. David Chipman, right? And he's a gun control advocate. He's kind of, it's, what do they say? It's making Chipman the head of the ATF would be like making Antifa the head of the Portland Police Department. Anyway, Tom Cotton gave him a little grilling, and so we're just gonna watch that for a second here. Oh, this is that Daily Wire crap. I gotta get the hang on. I forgot about that. Let's see, is it over here? There it is. Okay. All right, we're gonna close that one. I might have this up here twice, but anyway, here's Tom Cotton talking about to nominee David Chipman, who is who's being nominated for the top spot at the ATF.
At a time.
Yes, Waco sees Chipman.
Mr. Chipman, you testified to Senator Lee that it's a serious felony to lie on a background check application. I agree.
Hunter Biden
the
by the way.
ATF form 4473 asks, are you an unlawful user of or addicted to any drug or uncontrolled substance?
Wait for it.
If an applicant checks yes, they cannot purchase a firearm. On March 25th, Politico reported that Hunter Biden, President Biden's son, applied for a handgun that was later thrown in the trash and had to be recovered by Secret Service agents in 2018. Politico reported that Hunter Biden completed this background check and answered no to the question of whether he was an unlawful user of or addicted to any drug. Hunter Biden has since published a book and gone on a nationwide book tour, conducting numerous interviews, stating that he was, in fact, very much addicted to drugs at the same time that he purchased this firearm. This would mean that by his own admission, Hunter Biden lied on that form and by your earlier testimony, committed a serious felony. Should Hunter Biden be prosecuted for breaking this law?
Senator, thank you for your question. If I'm confirmed as ATF director, it will be my responsibility to enforce all federal laws without political favor. I do not know any factors in this particular case, but I am familiar with the press account of it.
Well, my understanding is the statute of limitation is only 5 years, and that this happened in 2018. Mr. Biden is obligated to keep a record of that form for up to 5 years himself. So this should be a fairly easy case to investigate. Can I get your commitment that if you are confirmed, you will in fact look into this matter and refer it for prosecution
Tom,
if you find that Hunter Biden
no matter what he
violated the law?
says here, that ain't happening.
Senator, what I will assure you is that if ATF director, I will ensure that all violations of law are investigated and referred.
Okay.
I'm not sure that it has not been investigated.
Well, I hope it has, and if the facts are as clear-cut.
Oh, I'm not sure it hasn't been investigated, right? Oh, okay, here's a good one for y'all. If you believe that has been investigated properly, put a 1 in the chat. If you haven't, if you don't believe it has, put a 2 in the chat. And we'll see what we get out of that. All right, let's move on. Because again, I'm trying to get through a lot of these today. Before I do though, thank you Gunfox61 for being the first sponsor of the show today. And Gunfox61,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you very much, Share with the Quince. As I know that I used that word wrong, but anyway, who says Pedo Joe was a, let's see, was a VIP at Epstein Island, and Hunter as well. I bet Hunter is lining up Chinese business CEOs and party members for business deals. I'm sure the Keystone Pipeline was not shut down for Russian business that Hunter is on the board. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That pipeline from Russia. It's Ukrainian oil. I don't know. That's interesting. Holy shit. Anyway, thank you, Good Fox 61, for sponsoring the show. I greatly appreciate you, and thank you for continuing sponsorship. And yes, you are the Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day. So there you go. All right, move it. Let's get back into the articles now. Because, like I said, it's a hodgepodge of things, and I'm trying to. This is kind of on the woke side of things. Apparently, the BLM activist threatens Kansas City police, who says we're going to blow your motherfucking head off. This woman is a gentle flower, apparently. So here's a protester in Kansas City with a bullhorn, and listen to this.
We're tired of getting shot and killed because we done got pulled up with some air pressures. And I got a bunch of motherfucking air pressures. I'm waiting for one of them motherfuckers to pull me up. Because baby, where I'm from, we don't give two fucks about the police. Chicago don't get, let them kill one of ours. Guess what we doing? We killed one of theirs in Chicago, baby. We gonna knock on your door. We gonna blow your motherfucking head off.
Okay, so there you go. She is a gentle flower, threatening to blow police's head off. And so anyway, it appears, let's see, this is a demonstration, I believe, just a couple days ago. It appears they ordered the demonstrators out of the street, and the hard ass that was talking about knocking on doors and shooting police is currently talking with officers. Oh, so she had a conversation with the officers. Let's see, in addition, okay, this is just this is an article on different protests around the country on George Floyd Day. I think I'm pretty sure that someone's going to propose that be a national holiday. So we'll just see what happens. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Did you hear Juan Williams is leaving the 5? Now, Juan Williams is not leaving Fox News. Don't get that twisted. Now there's a little, I don't have the music going yet, but I see a YouTube super chat. Thank you, Joe. It just says Joe ... I don't know which Joe it is, but Joe, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. $9.99 the YouTube super chat, and we got the little the dancing thank you here. You know what? Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. Real quick, good morning also. Good morning, John Smith and Browncoat Boaz. Welcome to the chat. There. Oh, Joe Lopez. Thank you, Joe Lopez. It didn't put your whole name on there. And also, I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. So anyway, Juan Williams is leaving the 5. Fox News political analyst Juan Williams revealed during Wednesday's episode of the 5 that he will be leaving the show. Williams said that he will be staying in Washington, D.C. permanently and will continue to working for Fox. He will remain a senior political analyst for Fox News Media. But it's time now for one more thing, and I have an announcement. Williams said, "This is my last day hosting the 5. COVID taught me a lot of lessons. As the show goes back to the New York studio, I'll be staying in D.C." So good luck to Juan Williams. I mean, he's wrong on everything, but he seems to be a decent guy and has great camaraderie with the rest of the Fox gang there. So there you go. Moving on, we got... let's see. I can't remember what was next here. Gretchen Whitler. I laugh every time I call her that. And you know what? By the way, you can go ahead and go ahead and do the FTG Gretchen Whitler because there you go. There's FTG GW. Veto-proof Michigan House majority passes a bill refunding coronavirus fines after Gretchen Whitmer hypocrisy. So they were giving out fines to people for different things. Well, they have decided they've passed a bill, a veto-proof bill, that would require the state to refund coronavirus-related fines after Gretchen Whitmer was caught violating her own order. N7 Honey Badger, what is happening? That's a new one in here. Nice to have you here. By a 74-34 vote, the State House swiftly passed HB 4105, a bill brought up for consideration after Breitbart News busted Whitmer for violating her restaurant table capacity order last week. If the governor can violate her orders without any repercussions, then why should our business owners be fined? State Representative Steve Johnson wondered. How long is this floor speech? Let's just see here.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, let's
Colleagues,
watch
today
this.
I rise in
2 minutes.
favor of House Bill 4501. That's a pretty simple bill. There's 2 parts to it. First part says if there's ever an executive order that's ruled unconstitutional, any fines that was levied on anyone, the state has to refund. That's pretty reasonable. I don't think anyone can be opposed to that. Now, my guess is the second part's probably where there's a little controversy. And it's also very simple as well. It says if someone violates one of the COVID orders and it's their first offense and they actually fix the problem that's been identified, then they don't get fined. Now, I think that makes sense. Instead of starting off and say, hey, let's just levy a fine immediately, how about we work with our small businesses and let them fix the problem? Now, these fines are serious. I did a quick look this morning in my district. River City Reproductions and Graphics in Kentwood, $2,100 fine.
Damn.
Eastbrook Homes in Kentwood, $3,500 fine.
Damn.
Integrity Business Solutions in Kentwood, $3,500 fine.
Damn.
Fire Rock Grill in Gaines Township, $6,300 fine.
Oh my.
AB&B Construction in Caledonia, $1,500 fine.
Ooh.
Now, to me, instead of fining businesses, we should try to work with them to try to make sure that we're not trying to put them out of business. But let's actually try to fix the problem at hand here. Now, to highlight the importance of this legislation, I want to tell you a story.
Okay,
we're going to skip. Story about how easy it is to violate these orders. How easy it is to get caught.
For the Michigan legislature, refund every fine after she pulled that nonsense and tried to make up a reason. Oh, well, we were there, people showed up and we pulled some tables together, but then we didn't realize we were breaking my own edict, even though I'm the one who made the edict. And FTG, Gretchen Whitler. All right, let's keep going. Also, speaking of people being busted, child welfare is caught stealing Social Security checks from disabled and orphan foster kids. NPR has done an in-depth investigation series exposing a child welfare money-making scheme that targets children receiving Social Security benefits for the enrichment of social services. This is a pattern that we've seen repeated during this article is by Megan Fox. It says it's a pattern I've seen repeated during my years investigating CPS and DSS and other child welfare offices around the country. So here's what NPR reported. Hi, James Colley. What's up? The Marshall Project and NPR found that in at least 36 states, Washington, D.C., state foster care agencies combed through their case files to find kids entitled to these benefits, then apply to Social Security to become each child's financial representative, a process permitted by federal regulations. Once approved, the agencies take the money almost always without notifying the children, their loved ones, or lawyers. What? At least 10 states' foster care agencies hire for-profit companies to obtain millions of dollars in Social Security benefits intended for the most vulnerable children in state care each year, according to a review of hundreds of pages of contract documents. A private firm that Alaska used while Hunter was in a state care referred to acquiring benefits from people with disabilities as a major line of business in company records. Some states also take veterans benefits from children with a parent who died in the military, though this has become less common as casualties have declined since the Iraq War. State foster care agencies collected more than $165 million from these children in 2018 alone, according to the most recent survey data from our research group Child Trends. And the numbers likely much higher, according to Social Security Administration data for 10 states obtained by a member of Congress and shared with the Marshall Project and NPR. In New York, California, and a handful of other states, foster care is run by counties, many of which also take this money, our reporting shows. Holy shit. Not only do they target children who are receiving benefits, but in some cases, I've covered, the employee of the county encouraged the parent to sign up for the benefits while pretending to help the family. Once the benefits are secured, the child welfare agency takes the children and the Social Security checks with trumped-up charges like Munchausen syndrome by proxy or nebulous charges of neglect. This sounds like, okay, I don't even know who to FTG on this, but somebody needs to be going to jail. And holy shit, read the rest of that article if you get a chance. It'll be in the tab down below. Thank you, GunFox61, with the $4.99. Who says through Streamlabs, who says, hang on a second here, let me pop that up. Who says Whitler needs to send HB. Okay, Whitler needs to be sent to HB school for Karen's ASAP. Karen needs to be impeached and kicked out of office. She needs to be done. But unfortunately, it's really weird. She's still very popular in Michigan amongst Democrats. And since it's weird because they have a Republican-dominated legislature, but for whatever reason, she's still popular there. I don't know why. She's terrible. She's a terrible person. All right, let's keep going. No, we don't enjoy the fight. I'm going to skip this one. Just Trump is setting his sights on the 2022 midterms, and he's going to be campaigning with a bunch of candidates. We'll see what happens. Apparently, he sat down with Newt Gingrich, Mark Meadows, and his former chief of staff and former Republican congressman, and Senator Lindsey Graham at Mar-a-Lago to begin crafting a document to spearhead the 2022 Republican victories, just as the Contract for America helped propel Republicans into majorities in both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, according to Politico. And so they're ramping up. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to keep going here. Liz Cheney, who has just been removed from the leadership of the Republican Party, now says that her reelection will be a referendum on the Republican Party. Representative Liz Cheney, the embattled former Republican conference chair, during an interview Wednesday with the Wall Street Journal's Women, Power, and Equity event, said she sees her reelection bid as a referendum on the future of the Republican Party. Well, I hate to say it, Liz, but you're kind of the past of the Republican Party. And, I'm not so confident that you're still going to be around. The Wyoming Republican said voters are potentially facing a choice between what she sees as traditional conservative values and loyalty to former President Trump. Look, I understand. She's more traditional as far as the conservative vibe, except for she's also kind of one of the warmongering neocon side. At least, well, I wouldn't say neocon, but her dad, she's a lot like her dad. And, we're trying to have the conservative, but without the war. You know what I mean? So anyway, she sees herself as the bellwether for what happens with the Republican Party. I don't know. I'm not a big party politics guy anymore anyway, although I far more support the Republicans than the Democrats, and I've been a registered Republican since 1984, I think. I don't know. Anyway. All righty then. And you know what? Honestly, she's half right. That's right. FTG Lizzo, as in Liz Cheney. Sorry, lady. We're done with you. Speaking of the ultimate FTG of the day. So remember we were talking about Dr. Anthony Fauci, the world's greatest physician and foremost expert on all that has to do with medicine and infectious diseases, who was saying that, well, no, they didn't fund the gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China. But then he came up with this. It would have been a dereliction of duty not to collaborate with China and study. What the hell happened there? Oh, it's a commercial. I don't want a commercial. Get off my screen, commercial. That was weird. I've never seen that come up before. So then he says, it would have been a dereliction of duty to not collaborate with China on studying coronaviruses. Anthony Fauci testified it would have been a dereliction of duty if the National Institute of Health had not worked with China to study coronaviruses, as he defended NIH money going to fund, quote, collaboration with, quote, very respectable Chinese students or scientists. So Equal Health Alliance received at least $3.7 million from the National Institute of Health from 2014 to 2020, and Peter Daszak, a key member of the WHO China Joint Study Team and leader of EcoHealth, steered at least $600,000 in funding from the National Institute of Health to the Wuhan Institute of Virology for bat coronavirus research. Now, so that's isn't that a form of money laundering? I'm just saying. Anyway, so he said, it said at first it was like they did not fund it. And then he said, well, we did fund this place, but then that place funded the stuff in Wuhan, right? Well, the question of the day is Fauci lying? Oh my gosh. So that's one of the questions of the day. And if you think Fauci is lying about any of it, press 1. And if you think he's not lying, press 2. I'm just saying. So anyway, this article, Senator Rand Paul and Dr. Anthony Fauci have been at war in recent months over the argument that the United States funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Fauci continues to deny his beloved National Institute of Health would have funded something so dangerous. But wait a minute. They were certainly, what is this? Fauci, it would have been a dereliction of duty to not collaborate with China on studying coronaviruses. Well, if they're doing gain-of-function research in Wuhan and you say they would not have funded something so dangerous, oh, good Lord. Anyway, from the New York Post, Fauci, the head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, told a House Appropriations Committee that the money was funneled to the Chinese lab through the nonprofit EcoHealth Alliance to fund a modest collaboration with very respectable Chinese scientists who were world experts on coronavirus. Oh, so you did fund the lab. But Fauci emphatically denied that the money went towards so-called gain-of-function research, which he described as taking a virus that could infect humans and making it even more transmissible and or pathogenic for humans. That categorically was not done, he insisted. Well, making my brain hurt. So, really, NIH director Dr. Francis Collins told Representative Andy Harris that researchers at Wuhan were not approved by National Institute of Health for doing gain-of-function research. Not approved? Does Fauci or any other man of science believe that the Chinese communists didn't take that money and spend it on anything they wanted in the lab? Of course they did. Good Lord. Hello, Jay Wolf. So anyway, this is just the web they weave is hilarious. So anyway, in the New York Post, remember you talked about this yesterday too, that the Biden team shut down the State Department inquiry probing possible lab link to COVID, right? Because that was they shut it down because that's because the Trump administration started that, and anything Trump did, Biden's job was to shut it down. Well, not so fast. They are. Oops, hang on. Where is it? Okay. Let me go back to there. Well, now they're going to go back and they're going to go back and investigate it after they shut it down. Oops. Here, it's one of these. Where is it? This. Oops. Anyway, so they're gonna go back to they're opening the investigation back up. So there's a couple now. This is interesting because now we're starting to see it. We're starting to see the drip of calling for Fauci's to be gone. Miranda Devine from the New York Post. Enough of Fauci's lies. Dr. Anthony Fauci was absolutely adamant that the National Institute of Health was never funding dangerous research on bat viruses in the Chinese lab suspected of being the source of COVID-19 pandemic when he was questioned by Republican Senator Rand Paul. And his words were, Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, Fauci said in the fiery Senate hearing on May 11th. I couldn't have been more certain until he wasn't certain a few hours later. That very afternoon, Fauci admitted to a very minor collaboration on the part of the subcontract of a grant. We had collaboration with some Chinese scientists during an appearance on Pointers.org Festival of Fact-Checking. Let me sum this up for you. I'm going to sum this up for you in a very succinct way. You can read the full articles if you'd like, but I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to very, very succinctly explain what happened here. And I'm not even going to use my own words. I am going to use the words of Eddie Murphy in the famous and classic film Beverly Hills Cops, where he played Axel Foley. So these are actually Axie Foley's words. You lied your ass off. Yeah. Yeah, he lied his ass off. And so and here's one. GOP fired act demands Dr. Fauci's early dismissal, and it's about time. As far as I'm concerned, Dr. Anthony Fauci lost all credibility last year when he praised New York's response to the pandemic, but his repeated shifting positions and frankly awful performance as one of the nation's top infectious disease experts has come calling for him to be fired. And this writer is all for it. Dr. Fauci, here's someone's quote. Dr. Fauci represents everything that President Eisenhower warned us about in his farewell address. The scientific technical elite steering the country toward their own end, Republican Representative Warren Davidson said in a statement. Davidson introduced the Fauci Incompetence Requires Early Dismissal Act. Oh my gosh. That's the name of the bill. The Fauci Requires Early Dismissal Act. Oh no, Fauci Incompetence Requires Early Dismissal. The Fired Act. The bill would set a 12-year term limit for each appointee serving as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which Fauci has been since 1984. The Fired Act. And someone said something about sending the sound effect. I'll try to remember to do that. The Fauci Incompetence Requires Early Dismissal Act. Oh my God. Let me just put that in the chat so you can see this, because just reading it over and over again is funny to me. There it is. The Fauci Act. The Fired Act. Anyway. Yeah, it's time. Come on. And at the very least, as I said this, I don't know if I said it yesterday or the day before, in the beginning of the pandemic, back in March of last year, Dr. Anthony Fauci stated that masks were unnecessary. He said that. Now, he changed his tune later, but imagine if masks are the thing that kept people from getting this disease, and they've been so adamant about it in the last few months, several months. The mask saves lives. And Dr. Anthony Fauci told us not to wear masks, that he has killed tens of thousands of people in the United States. He should be in prison, not just fired, prison. And for that, I say, FTG Fauci, resist Faucism. There we go. All right, let's move on from Dr. Fauci. I'm tired of talking about this man. He should be in jail. I just think he's killed tens of thousands of people. Okay, so I must open that one twice. Let's see. It's about time. Let's see. Okay. Oh, and see, here's the part. Biden shut down the Wuhan inquiry out of spite because, again, anything that Trump did, he had to shut down. Does Trump derangement syndrome have no end? That's a great question. President Biden overturned President Donald Trump's policies at the southern border, even though they were controlling illegal immigration. He's pushed for the return of the failed Iran deal, even though the Trump administration successfully reined in that country's spreading of terror. Now it's revealed that Biden shut down an inquiry into the Wuhan lab and the origins of COVID-19 that was started by the State Department under his predecessor. Why, do you ask? Well, of course, because Trump was pushing it. One would hope that at a certain point, Democrats in the media would learn to think for themselves rather than just reflectively deciding that if Trump was for it, I'm against it. But that's probably asking too much. Biden at least reversed course on Wuhan after new reporting by the Wall Street Journal and others It became untenable for the administration to ignore the possibility that COVID-19 leaked from the Chinese lab. Biden has called for a new inquiry to replace the one he nixed. Well, too much, too little, too late to ever try again. Too much, too little, too late. Let's end and being friends. Let's send Joe Biden down the road for a nap. It's over. It's over. Okay, little peaches and herb for your listening pleasure. Governor DeSantis is making fun of people. Or not, I'm sorry, not making fun of people, but he's calling them out for the stupid mask wearing nonsense. By the way, I was driving to take my truck to its grave. No, I have to fix it. It's going to cost me a ton of money. I was driving the other day and I saw one of these people, one of these crazy people, okay? Dude was walking down the sidewalk all by himself, outdoors. Oh, it is Johnny Mathis. It's Johnny Mathis and Denise William, isn't it? Okay, never mind. No, guess it's over. Oh, yeah, it is Johnny Mathis. Guess it's over. Call it a day. Sorry that it had to end this way. Anyway, what he's doing, walking down the street all by himself on the sidewalk, nobody within miles of him because he's walking by himself down the street. And he's not just wearing a mask, he's wearing a double mask. He's got the one paper one that you buy, the cheap ones, but they're actually a little more better than the cloth one. He has that underneath another mask, walking down the street by himself. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, Ron DeSantis is calling out people still wearing 6 masks after being vaccinated. Good for him. Republican Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, called out people who are vaccinated but are still wearing masks during his Wednesday speech. I think they sent one of the corporate media outlets, sent some reporter down. They were trying to make fun of Baker, saying, oh, these yokels having kids going to school. See how crazy these people are, right? DeSantis said, well, here, let's just listen to him because I can't do it justice. Here's Ron DeSantis.
You know, normally it's not all of our districts normally open then. So this is one of the first ones. I think they sent, like, one of the corporate media outlets sent some reporter down. They were trying to make fun of Baker, like, oh, these yokels are having kids go in school. How crazy are these people, right? The crazy people are the ones that are vaccinated still wearing 6 masks in New York City. I mean, to be honest with you. Yeah, normally it's
okay,
not all of our...
Oops, automatic repeats. All right, let's see. So anyway, yeah, good for him because they're nuts. I'm sorry. And now in Maine, though, the Democratic House Speaker stripped Republicans of committee assignments over mask rules. Democratic Speaker of Maine House stripped Republican. Okay, I just said that. Stripped Republican lawmakers of their committee posts on Monday after they entered the House without masks in accordance with the governor's most recent executive order. State Representative Laura Libby released a video of a confrontation between the 7 unmasked Republican lawmakers and a Capitol police officer who told them they are required to wear masks in the State House, even though Governor Janet Mills released an executive order effective this week that ended the state's mask mandate. So here it is. If they ended the mask mandate, why is she stripping them of their committee assignments? Here it is, the encounter. Here.
Good morning. Good. I'm going to stop you right here. Okay. Stop you right here now. I don't even have one with me. I'm going to go give you providing for you. But in order to be in legislative space, your leadership said that you need to wear masks. So we are asking you to wear masks beyond this point. It's masks, and they can wear masks. When you do, after you leave beyond me, I don't care what you do. Yeah. But you can't go beyond here. You can't wear masks. That's all I'm asking.
What happens if I do?
If you go beyond here,
yes,
then leadership will be responsible for whatever you do.
So if Ryan Pecco is in the building, we'd like to see the speaker.
And I saw him coming in this morning.
Yeah.
Because according to CDC, you may have missed the conversation, but according to CDC guidelines and the governor's mandates, I pose no threat to anyone by not wearing a mask. I'm allowed in public spaces without wearing a mask because I've met
We
the
understand
conditions.
that. I don't know if you
So-
heard the question that was posed.
My mask wearing days
Okay,
are over.
so if you are also not in authority to answer that question, we completely understand. You're put in the middle here, as these folks are as well. That's fine. We'd like to speak to Speaker Fecteau and get the answer to the question.
He's not available right now, so if
Okay.
we could find somewhere where you all could wait.
We are happy to
until
wait. Thank you, though.
We find him.
Now, here's what's interesting.
Excuse me.
Representative Andrews.
You want to move?
Okay, so he actually went through. The others said, are waiting.
Oh, boy.
All right, so anyway, I'm not gonna, oh wait, hang on a second here. Let's see the rest of this.
Interested to know what is of more importance than a group of legislators being denied entrance to the State House that Speaker Fecteau cannot make his way down here to answer that question.
As I've said, I'm happy to arrange a meeting with the speaker with you.
So what she's saying, she'd like it now.
But you're not taking any steps to do that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your effort.
So if you're unwilling.
So anyway, all these people are probably vaccinated, whatever. And again, it's insanity now. So the Maine governor, or excuse me, the Speaker of the House in Maine, the governor has already said masks are not mandated in public spaces, and the State House certainly is a public space. And so anyway, according to the AP, despite the governor's repeal of the mask mandate, the Legislative Council decided to require lawmakers to wear masks in the State House. State employees are required to wear masks in shared indoor workspaces until at least June 7th, according to the state's budget commissioner. House Speaker Ryan Fecteau, Democrats, said the rule will continue to wear masks reflects a respect for a shared workplace. No, this is your power, and you're a jackass. So anyway, so here's what's his name? Ryan Fecteau. He sounds like a foot disease. Anyway, FTG to Ryan Fecteau. Let's keep going. We only got a little time left. Oh, way out of time. Here's the most interesting thing on COVID, CDC data about post-vaccine COVID breakthrough infections. Simple. State Representative Mary Francis and State Senator Scott Jensen released a video last week revealing that they're reviewing thousands of death certificates in the state. 40% did not have COVID-19 as the underlying cause of death. So this is in Minnesota. 2 Minnesota lawmakers said the death in their state could have been inflated by as much as 40%. He says, I have other examples where COVID isn't the underlying cause of death, where we have a fall. Another example is we have freshwater drowning, we have dementia, we have a stroke, and multi-organ failure as the underlying cause of death. But she added that in one case, a person who was ejected from a car was counted as a COVID death because the virus was in his system. In New Jersey hospital, they found that 90% of patients who had COVID-19 listed as a cause of death had a do not resuscitate order in place before hospitalization. From that study, the significance of the DNR status as an independent risk factor for mortality has not been documented previously in COVID-19 patients. The present study analyzed data of 1,270 patients with COVID-19 who were admitted to our institutions during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic in New Jersey. DNR patients, it's in do not resuscitate, had higher ratios of risk of death and lower survival outcomes compared to non-DNR patients. The association between DNR status and poor clinical outcomes remained independently significant after adjustments for important clinical factors, including age, gender, COVID-19 symptoms at the time, and admission of comorbidities. Excuse me. So, and then this Justin Baragona, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky somewhat confusingly say they were aware of 223 people who died with COVID after being vaccinated. Not all of those 223 cases had COVID, actually died of COVID. They may have had mild disease, but died, for example, of a heart attack. So anyway, several examples of how the COVID numbers have been possibly, in theory, and inexplicably exaggerated. Moving on. Sorry, we have a little cough here. Maybe my COVID came back. Oh, I'll just read the headline of this one. Natural immunity to COVID may last more than a year after infection, according to new studies. So I feel like I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to make it because I've already had it. And I think it's going to be interesting if the people who've had COVID and have not been vaccinated are going to need vaccine passports to go through Oregon, because in the state of Oregon now they're requiring proof of vaccination to go maskless in stores and churches. An update to its official masking guidance, the Oregon Health Authority said that businesses, employers, and churches may follow flu vaccinated persons, or it may allow fully vaccinated persons not to wear masks in their establishments. But if they do that, the establishment must have a system in place to check the vaccination status of the persons, essentially a vaccine passport type system. Here's what I say to the Oregon Health Authority. Oops, I didn't spell it right, but FTG to them. Go to hell. Let's see. Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley's fighting Amazon buying MGM. He thinks that Amazon's too big, has too much power, has too much stuff, and it's time for them to stop being able to buy shit. I'm not going to read that one, but you can check that out yourself. Also, let's see. This is so. You know how I describe the media as the cleaners of the taint? The taint tongue baths that they give to President Biden. Well, this is just an article how they treat him like a child and try to make it, try to make it that, well, they just try to make him seem so, well, just perfect. It's like asking about his favorite ice cream. I'm going to read you the part that caught my eye as I read this. The nation's two biggest biased propaganda rags, the New York Times and the Washington Post, recently did profiles on the alleged president that are part of creative fiction and part parents cheering on a slow toddler who finally managed not to eat the crayon. Because Trump so damaged the mainstream media, Washington Post doesn't even know how embarrassing this headline is. This is a headline in the Washington Post about the president of the United States. Just incredibly important issues. Here it is. The headline: weightlifting, Gatorade, birthday calls, inside Biden's day. The Washington Post also obsesses over the Biden schedule here, which further reveals how far gone he is. Although I'm sure the author is unaware of that too. Here's the favorite at 9:45 a.m. This is part of his official presidential schedule. 9:45 a.m. Proceed to Oval Office. Oh, there you go. Because doesn't everyone need a daily reminder of where they work and that they should go there on their to-do list? So anyway, then also known for, because Biden has become known for bugging out in public and bugging out of the public eye early in the day. Guess what? That's better than a president who's busy and dozing off. This is from which one's this from? This is from the Washington Post. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, recently voiced the criticism of some Republicans that Biden lacks stamina. Quote, at no time having known Joe Biden for quite some time does he have the energy of Donald Trump, McCarthy said on Fox News this month. Donald Trump didn't need to sleep 5 hours at night and he would be engaged. Biden supporters dismissed that comparison, saying Trump's chaotic hyperactivity was hardly preferable to Biden's steadiness. Senator Christopher A. Coons, Delaware, longtime Biden confidant, said Biden in meetings just crosses his arms, puts his chin in his hands, and just listens. to his puppeteers. Anyway, it's just disgusting how the media is treating them. Let's keep going because like I said, I got to get done here. FTG Biden and Biden voters. Yes, exactly. There you go. This one. So this is a New York Times reporter, and it goes, I'm just going to give it to you without comment at all. Okay. Here's the New York Times reporter here we go. This is a New York Times reporter, Apurva Mandavelli. Someday we will stop talking about the lab leak theory and maybe even admit its racist roots. But alas, that day's not here. The lab leak theory is now racist.
That's racist!
The article title is called New York Times Reporter Wants to Kill Plausible COVID Lab Leak Theory Because of Racism. Read it. You will not believe your ears. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61. Another $4.99 who said, I'll add Oregon to my list of states I will boycott going to. And yeah, I'm sure California will force COVID passport laws as well. COVID passports are here, folks. Resist them and tell anyone who agrees with COVID passports to fuck off, commie fucks. Yes! Yes! Yes, GunFox61, thank you, and thank you for continually sponsoring the show. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, and then she did actually, I think she deleted the tweet later. And someone says, hey, why'd you delete this? Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just sad. All right, let's see if let's just give you the rest of the headlines here. Tom Cotton. Oh, we did the Tom Cotton pressing the ATF guy. We can skip that. And that's probably just the video. Yep. And I'll skip Ace here. And then, all right. The teachers union honchos go maskless in a classroom as kids are forced to mask even outside in extreme heat. So these, do as I say is not as I do. So here's the, let's see, the great visit to Castillo Elementary in the Francis Howe district. Thank you, Francis Hill and Anita Kaner, for inviting us, it says. So this is the, let's see, MNEA. Notice, no one, I don't know if you can see this, is really small. Let's see if I can make this, well, I can't. Anyway, will it draw the picture? Excuse me. Yeah, I won't make the picture any larger if I open it on its own. Anyway, so these teacher union folks who are demanding that kids wear masks indoors and out in Missouri, they're requiring children to wear masks outside in the sweltering heat, even as teachers union officials and school board members do not have to do the same. Now, who's at a higher risk? The big old fat school board members or the kids who don't really get the disease that much? I'm just saying. Also, let's see. Oh, there's a new pilot program to educate Muslim students on the Holocaust set to launch in New York. Oh, who are they going to have teach the class, though? Like AOC and never mind, Bill de Blasio and stuff. Who's writing? Maybe Candy X or whatever. Anyway, but, good luck to them. In the Federalist, this white assistant dean at Brandeis University calls herself racist. Here it is. A few points of clarification. Debates about critical race theory are often strawmen for debates about whether or not systemic racism is real. No, they're not, actually. You can teach about what you believe to be systemic racism without doing critical race theory. But anyway, and no numbers of statistics or facts that I could offer up are going to convince people to see systemic racism if they don't want to. Yes, all white people are racist, and that all white people have been conditioned in a society where one's racial identity determines life experiences. False. Outcomes. False. And whiteness is the norm and the default. That includes me. Well, if you want to be a racist, go right ahead. It's time for you to be fired. Anyway, 3, I don't hate white people. I hate whiteness. To distinguish between the two, please feel free to watch my recent live. What is whiteness? CRT does not create oppression. It names oppression that already exists. What's her name? Let's find her name here. Her name is, Brandeis University Assistant Dean Kate Slater. Well, oops, hang on. Oh, shoot, what I do? FTG Kate Slater. All right. Let's see. Oh, and then there's a what is this school in Ohio? Bowling Green State University in Ohio is going to assign diversity scores to faculty applicants. Fan-fucking-tastic. It's in the Washington Free Beacon. It'll be in the tabs. Let's see what else I got. Amazon. Oh, and now Amazon employees are getting into the politics. They're pressuring the company to cut ties with Israel, the country that's been attacked by rockets, and they're retaliating. Well, of course, there's a BDS movement within Amazon. Now it's funny because there's a ton of Amazon employees in the hubs I see over here, and it's interesting because they do have a large number of Muslim employees at the distribution center that's not too far from my house. So I could see that they might be doing that. Let's see. They settled. Oh, they wrote a letter. They wrote a letter to Jeff Bezos. Amazon employees called for the company to terminate $1.2 billion contract with the Israeli government. Over 500 employees have signed the letter, which asks Amazon leadership to acknowledge the continued assault upon Palestinians' basic human rights under illegal occupation. I'm not getting into that. Anyway. People there now. There's some brothers and sisters who are pushing back on renaming Columbus Day because some of the Native Americans were slaveholders. This is interesting. A county commissioner in Illinois is resisting renaming of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day because of the documented history of Native Americans owning slaves. The Chicago Sun-Times reported on Monday. Stanley Moore, Cook County Commissioner, stated that before any vote could take place on renaming the holiday, Native American tribes should acknowledge their history of owning slaves. Moore's statement were made to the Cook County Board, which discussed renaming Columbus Day at a meeting on Monday. Moore also brought attention to alleged discrimination of Choctaw freedmen by many of Native American tribes in the country. So that's interesting. They are discriminating against us, and if they do not want to recognize freedmen and their descendants, they should no longer accept nor receive federal taxpayer dollars based on census population of the freedmen, Moore said in a statement. That is fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. So let's see. And if you didn't know this, let's see, it's down here. Some of the Native American tribes owned black slaves in the 19th century. These slaves, known as the freedmen, are not recognized by many of the tribes that enslaved their ancestors. So that's some blue on blue crime, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. Oh gosh. Systemic racism smuggled its way into 127 episodes. Goal number 21 of the 1963 communist goals: gain control of key positions in radio and TV. So apparently, so they've been counting and they've been watching some of this woke craziness go into about different episodes of different shows. And you can find it in this PJ Media article. I'm going to move on. All right. Oh, and I'm going to finish up. Well, I'm almost done here. Mother of deceased Capitol Police officer presses GOP senators to back the January 6th commission. So Brian Sicknick's mom is meeting with GOP senators on Thursday to push them to support a proposed bipartisan commission to investigate the events of January 6th, a measure Republicans are poised to block. Gladys Sicknick, as well as Brian Sicknick's longtime girlfriend, Sandra Garza, has been seeking sit-downs with every single Senate GOP office to emphasize the importance of establishing an independent body to investigate the deadly insurrection. So this is some politics shit, and somebody got her to do this. The people who died, Michael Fanone suffered a heart attack and a concussion while responding to the January 6th attack, and he's slated. Oh, I see. This is another officer. The deadly attack. The only thing that was deadly about the attack was the officer who killed a protester, an unarmed protester, and the other people who died all died of natural causes, including Brian Sicknick, who died from a stroke 2 days later. And somebody they somebody found a way to get this woman in this cause. And I don't have any ill will towards her at all. No FTG for Gladys Sicknick at all. You know, she's a person who's, mired in grief, and rightfully so, even though the cause of her grief was not the January 6th riot. I'm just saying. But I have no ill will to her whatsoever. The last thing is there's a great article in American Greatness by Victor David Hansen just talking about the craziest of 2020 and how it's creeping into 2021. I'm going to not read any of it, but I would like you to check that out. It'll be in the tabs. Also, this interesting article, Kyrie Irving fans the Flames with a bombshell before his return to Boston. So he plays for the New Jersey Nets now, not New Jersey, Brooklyn Nets. And he did a press conference where he was talking about how well, there it is. He was expected to be booed like a villain in his comeback, just as Johnny Damon and Ray Allen were when they signed with rival teams. But Irving's comments Tuesday night after Game 2 may have elevated the disdain Boston fans have for the all-star point guard who spent 2 troubled years with the Celtics. After the Nets easily took care of the Celtics with a 130-108 win in Game 2, Irving finally addressed going back to Boston, the potential reaction from the fans, and some still seething that he reneged on his promise to re-sign with the Celtics when his contract expired. Irving made the declaration that in October 2018, entering the final year of his contract, by May 2019, Irving had mentally checked out of Boston, his heart waiting for a maximum offer from the Nets. He bolted from Boston, where he missed the team's first playoff run with injury, and then the second season was filled with team turmoil and Irving's resistance to become an encouraging leader for the young core that included Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But he had all this history in Boston. Well, he says, hopefully we can just keep it strictly basketball, Irving said after scoring 15 points in a light workload night. There's no belligerence or racism going on, subtle racism and people yelling expletive from the crowd. Even if it is, it's the part of the nature of the game, and we're just going to focus on what we can control. Implying well, saying that the Boston fans are racist, which, it's Boston. What do you expect? But they didn't need to tell him that. Oh, he just opened it up. He opened up the floodgates. Now, here's some encouraging news. Naomi Osaka, the tennis star, half black, half Japanese, and otherwise known as Blackanese to some of us, she has has a historic year and off-court record $55 million payday. She catapulted in the global spotlight in 2018 with her memorable U.S. Open win over Serena Williams, and backed it up 4 months later with a second Grand Slam in Australia, the first singles major ever for a Japanese player. She was hailed for the breakthrough, but the tennis ace is just getting warm up. Osaka's last 12 months have constituted one of the most memorable years ever by an athlete, male or female, across any sport. She added 2 more Grand Slams to her resume, but received even more attention for raising awareness around police shootings with her actions when she pulled out of an event in Cincinnati and then wore masks in New York, highlighting the names of 7 black victims of police shootings. Well, I'm not so excited about that part. However, the big news is she is now Japanese mother, Haitian father, Haitian American. Osaka has partnered with 24 brands that range from HR software, Workday, to watches, Tag Heuer. Her marketing appeal covers denims, Levi's, to high fashion, Louis Vuitton. Osaka has deals worth 8 figures annually, including Nike, and one with heavy equipment components, Hyperice, Body Armor. This month, fast casual restaurant Sweetgreen revealed Osaka as its first athlete ambassador, and she's also an investor in the company. So she's made $55 million in outside of tennis this last year, which puts her literally. There's very few athletes who've reached that ascended that high. So good for her. Congratulations, Naomi Osaka, for the great year you're having. And let's see. And then on a sad note, if you're familiar with the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, artist and author Eric Carle has passed away at 91, and no FTGs for Eric Carle either. I remember that was many of you who have grown up in the United States are probably familiar with this book, and it's one of my kids when they were little, one of their favorite books. It's one of the first books that my daughter had learned to read, and so rest in peace, Eric Carle. And on that note, it is time for me to go. I got to tell you, folks, it's been a great. Tomorrow is the 600th episode of the Morning Night Live, and unfortunately, the people I wanted to come on can't make it. So I'm gonna have a call-in show tomorrow for the 600th episode. We'll have a link in the chat and where you can jump on, and we'll just have a fun show. We'll talk about whatever you want to, but that's it for today. Before you go, make sure you hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Share the stream out, even after the stream, it helps. And if I missed you in the chat, check your logic. People's Front of Canada, I see you there now. I apologize. Just enjoy your day, and we'll be back tomorrow, like always. I think that's it. So I'm gonna go. My name is. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Resist Fauci gear. Go to if you merch. I don't know who bought merch. It didn't say. A couple people did. Thank you for doing that. We do have the Resist Fauci line right now in the Streamlabs merch tab. You can go to PDawgKnight.live and hit the there's a merch tab like right up there somewhere when you look at that. Check that out. All right, now I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I gotta go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.